The night of June 6, 1944, began in complete darkness. High above the fields of Normandy, thousands of young soldiers sat silently inside roaring transport planes. In just a few minutes, they would jump out into the cold night sky and fall straight into enemy territory. Below them waited German soldiers, machine guns, and uncertainty. Many of these men understood one thing before the jump: some of them would never make it back. Before we continue this incredible story, make sure to subscribe to the channel Black Micro Stories and turn on notifications, because here we explore the most intense and unbelievable moments from history that many people have never heard about. Hours before the famous landings on the beaches, these soldiers were already beginning one of the most dangerous missions of World War II. They were paratroopers, part of the massive Allied invasion known as D-Day. While the world remembers the brutal fighting on the beaches of Normandy, thousands of soldiers had already landed far behind enemy lines during the night. Their mission was incredibly risky: capture key roads and bridges, destroy communication lines, and stop German reinforcements from reaching the beaches. Inside the transport planes, the soldiers could barely hear each other over the loud engines. Many of them belonged to the famous 101st Airborne Division and 82nd Airborne Division. Most of them were very young, many just in their early 20s. They carried rifles, ammunition, radios, explosives, and heavy equipment. Some soldiers had nearly 40 kilograms of gear attached to their bodies, making the jump even more dangerous. As the planes approached the coast of Normandy, the peaceful night suddenly exploded with flashes of fire. German anti-aircraft guns had spotted the aircraft. Bright explosions filled the sky as pilots desperately tried to avoid being hit. The formation of planes quickly began to scatter. Some pilots climbed higher while others dropped lower to escape the deadly gunfire. This sudden chaos would cause a serious problem for the soldiers waiting to jump. Then suddenly, the green light inside the plane turned on. That was the signal. One by one, the paratroopers stepped toward the open door and disappeared into the darkness. Thousands of parachutes opened above Normandy, drifting silently toward the ground. But because the planes had scattered under enemy fire, the paratroopers landed far away from their intended drop zones. Some landed in forests, others landed in muddy fields or flooded farmland. Many soldiers landed miles away from their units. Some even landed dangerously close to German troops. The confusion was immediate and terrifying. Soldiers who were supposed to land in large groups suddenly found themselves completely alone in enemy territory. Radios were missing, maps were lost, and many soldiers had no idea where they had landed. But slowly, small groups of paratroopers began finding each other in the darkness. Sometimes just 2 or 3 soldiers teamed up and started moving toward their objectives. Across the quiet countryside of Normandy, these scattered soldiers began launching surprise attacks. They cut telephone wires to stop German communication. They destroyed road signs to confuse enemy troops. Some paratroopers ambushed German patrols, while others captured small bridges and important crossroads. Even though they were heavily outnumbered, their sudden attacks created panic among German forces. One of the most dramatic moments happened in a small French village called Saint-Mia. Paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne Division were dropping directly above the town. Unfortunately for them, the German soldiers below were already awake because a fire had broken out in the village earlier that night. As the paratroopers floated down slowly from the sky, German troops opened fire. Bullets ripped through the air as helpless soldiers descended with their parachutes. One American paratrooper named John Steele had one of the most terrifying experiences of the night. As he drifted toward the town square, his parachute became caught on the steeple of the church. Suddenly, Steele was hanging high above the ground in full view of everyone below. Gunfire echoed through the streets as the battle erupted beneath him. Realizing he could not escape, Steele pretended to be dead and remained completely still while the fighting continued for hours. Eventually, he was captured by German soldiers, but later he managed to escape and rejoin his unit. His incredible story later became one of the most famous moments of the Normandy invasion. Despite the confusion and scattered landings, the paratroopers slowly began completing their objectives. Small teams captured important road intersections and bridges. Others blocked routes that German reinforcements would need to reach the beaches. Their surprise attacks caused confusion among German commanders, who began receiving reports that enemy troops were appearing everywhere across the countryside. In reality, many of these large forces were actually just small groups of determined paratroopers attacking quickly and then moving on. But their actions made the Germans believe that a much larger Allied force had already landed inland. As the sun slowly rose over Normandy, these scattered soldiers continued fighting. Many had been awake for nearly an entire day. Some had lost contact with their original units. Yet they continued pushing forward, determined to finish their mission. Their bravery had a powerful effect. German reinforcements moving toward the beaches were delayed and confused. Communication lines were cut. Roads were blocked. All of this gave Allied forces landing on the beaches valuable time to secure their positions. By the end of the day, many paratroopers had paid the ultimate price. Hundreds were killed during the jump or in the fighting that followed. Some drowned in flooded fields because their heavy gear pulled them underwater. Others were captured or badly wounded. But their sacrifice helped make the invasion successful. Their mission was a crucial part of the larger Allied operation known as Operation Overlord, which would eventually lead to the liberation of Western Europe. Today, when people remember D-Day, they often focus on the brutal fighting on the beaches. But far beyond the coastline, in the quiet fields and villages of Normandy, thousands of paratroopers had already begun the battle hours earlier. They jumped into darkness without knowing where they would land. Many fought alone, surrounded by enemy forces, yet their courage helped change the course of history. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible story of bravery, don't forget to subscribe to the channel Black Microstories and like the video, because many more powerful and untold stories from history are coming in the next videos.